Hello and welcome to Chat with a Doc, a new virtual health series brought to you by 50Forward and Walk with a Doc. I'm Kelsey Mahaffey, the All of Us Project Director for 50Forward, a nonprofit serving older adults located in Nashville, Tennessee. Today's program is made possible by 50Forward, which is also a national community engagement partner for the All of Us Research Program. All of Us is a research program from the National Institutes of Health that aims to advance precision medicine. Specifically, All of Us is seeking 1 million people from diverse backgrounds, including older adults, to volunteer and share their health information, helping researchers find better treatments and cures for all of us. Over 800,000 people have enrolled so far, with 80% of those coming from communities that are historically underrepresented in biomedical research. You can learn more about this program, as well as what research studies are happening right now, by visiting our website at joinallofus.org/50forward. With me today is my colleague, Keith Richardson, who will introduce today's topic and special guest doc. Hi, Keith.
Hi, Kelsey, and hello, and a big welcome to all of you tuning in to our Chat with the Doc episode today for Older Americans Month. We are thrilled to welcome walk leader and geriatrician Dr. Emma Bjore. I'll read a brief bio for Dr. Bjore, and then we'll jump into the presentation. For those watching on Facebook, please place any questions in the comments section on your screen. For those on Zoom, please place questions in the Q&A feature. We will do our best to address those at the end. Raised in rural North Dakota, Dr. Emma Bjore received her medical degree from the University of North Dakota School of Medicine and Health Sciences. She completed a residency in family medicine and a fellowship in geriatrics, both through the University of Colorado in Denver. Dr. Bjore has been involved in the Walk with the Doc program since her fellowship in 2016, when she and her co-fellow Jana Harlan started a chapter. After 1 year, they surveyed participants presenting their data in a poster presentation at a 2017 American Geriatric Society National Conference. Their research showed that those who participated in 3 or more walks agreed the program had helped them increase physical activity, set personal goals, and improve health literacy. Upon moving to Wyoming later in 2017, she founded the first Walk with the Doc chapter in Wyoming and has served as its host since then. Dr. Bjore, committed to Walk with the Doc, reflects her dedication to serving geriatric populations. As the only geriatrician in Evanston Medical Group, Dr. Bjore was instrumental in Evanston receiving the Institution for Healthcare Improvements Age-Friendly Health System status in 2020, the first in the state of Wyoming. Currently, Dr. Bjore practices outpatient geriatrics in Lamara, Wyoming. A top priority for Dr. Bjore has been treating geriatric patients with dignity, something she hopes to see reflects in all health services. Her desire for respectful care extends from those focused on healthy aging to those making end-of-life decisions. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Emma Bjore.
Thank you so much, Keith, for that great introduction. I am going to pull up my presentation here, and hopefully you can see that well. So like Keith said, I'm a geriatrician in Laramie, Wyoming, and I'm very excited to be with you today to celebrate Older Americans Month, which is May every year. And this year in 2024, our theme is Powered by Connection. All right, so the Administration of Community Living leads the way in observation of Older Americans Month. They were created around the principle that older adults should be able to live where they choose and participate in their communities. I really encourage all of you to go to acl.gov and learn more. And please, on all of your social media, hashtag Powered by Connection, and share what connection means to you as a way of helping us celebrate this month. All right, so a quick outline for our presentation today. We will be talking about the definitions of loneliness and social isolation and their health implications. We're also going to review why this is a public health concern and ways to get connected. I'm also going to take a minute to discuss what our geriatric team is doing at our clinic at Ivinson. We'll go over a few resources for you and a brief take-home message, and then my references and acknowledgements. I like the National Institute on Aging's definitions here. Loneliness is the distressing feeling of being alone or separated. So this is a subjective feeling. A person can be around many people and still feel lonely, or they can be alone and feel lonely. Social isolation is a lack of social contacts. A person might be objectively isolated while not feeling lonely. So these two things are different, though related, but both have significant health implications. How common is a lack of social connection? Well, a longitudinal cohort study of over 1,600 adults over 60 in the U.S. Health and Retirement Study found that 43% of older adults in the U.S. report occasional loneliness. They also found that loneliness was a predictor of functional decline and death. So here in this graphic from the CDC, we can see how common loneliness is and also social isolation. In fact, loneliness and social isolation have been found to increase the risk of all of these health issues, including increasing the risk of dementia by 50%. So increasing the risk of heart disease and stroke and type 2 diabetes, as well as depression and anxiety, suicidal ideations and self-harm, and earlier death. So many of these things are topics that my patients come into my office and say, hey, I really don't want to get diabetes, or I really am concerned about getting dementia. So these are major health concerns that as an aging society and a society that wants to age healthfully, we really need to address. So just 1 year ago, the U.S. Surgeon General produced this advisory on the importance of social connection for individuals and communities. We've seen from the years 2003 to 2020, which is highlighted in this advisory, that social engagement and companionship have been declining, while social isolation has been on the rise. Besides having a significant impact on our overall health, it also has a great effect on our financial well-being. It's estimated that Medicare spending on social isolation and loneliness is around $6.7 billion a year, and hundreds of billions of dollars is lost in our overall economy. So how does lack of connection actually affect our health? Well, loneliness and social isolation increases emotional distress and can lead to negative health behaviors. It also increases stress hormones and inflammation and decreases resiliency. All of these can lead to worse health outcomes. This schematic is taken from the Surgeon General's advisory, and I really like how this is laid out. One of the things that is not highlighted here is how loneliness and isolation can also increase our risk of high-risk medication use and how that decreases our overall health as well. How bad is this really? Well, the Surgeon General estimates, based off of 148 studies, that the effects of social isolation and loneliness on mortality are comparable to smoking 15 cigarettes a day. So that's pretty astounding. We used to say sitting was the new smoking, and it is still, but social disconnect really is the new smoking. The good news is that studies have shown people with social connectedness have an improved survival and risk reduction of chronic disease. So besides typing in all of your great questions for me, I'd love to hear some ways that you're able to stay connected and involved in your communities. So feel free to engage with us in the chat. Here I have some examples that I was thinking of. Group exercise is evidence-based and has shown to improve social connectedness. Hopefully, you're all involved in a Walk with a Doc chapter. If you're not, I encourage you to find your local chapter. And if you don't have a local chapter, encourage your physician or health system to start one. I'd also want you to challenge yourself to invite a friend to the walk, or better yet, a future friend. One of the things that we've done is to try to engage with our long-term care and assisted living communities to invite them to the walk. And so that's another way to help engage your community in connectedness. Other community activities: senior centers, local universities, social clubs, music groups, volunteering and befriending, finding dedicated family time, whether you're able to do that in person or virtually, support groups. And then the Surgeon General has this amazing 5 for 5 connection challenge. It challenges us to have one action every day for 5 days, either one that expresses gratitude, offers support, or an action that asks for help, and then write how that made you feel in those 5 days as a way of improving social connectedness and deepening your social relationships. So I just wanted to say a quick word about blue zones. Many of you are probably familiar with this. Blue zones were studied and explored by Dan Buettner, and this is his best-selling book up at the top, and his recent Netflix series, which is a wonderfully done documentary, and I strongly recommend it. So he discovered that there's 5 blue zones, and these are areas that have the highest percentage of centenarians in the world, and not just people who are living to 100, but people who are living well and being healthy and vibrant throughout the aging process. And so I like this Venn diagram here. And this shows 3 of the blue zones: Loma Linda in California, Sardinia, Italy, and Okinawa, Japan. And you can see where they intersect. So he's studied, what do these communities have in common? And we could guess, okay, they probably don't smoke, they probably eat a healthy diet, and they're active. And we know that there's so much evidence around this, and that's how people stay healthy. But have we really fully appreciated the impact that social engagement and family has on our well-being? Dan Buettner discovered this, and so you can see that is highlighted in all 3 of these blue zones. All right, so switching gears just a little bit, I want to tell you a bit about my geriatric team at Ivinson in Laramie, Wyoming. So we are an outpatient team. I'm joined by my pharmacy partner, Dr. Woods, and my amazing nurse, Peter, and patient care tech, Ben, who's leaving me for medical school soon. And we also have pharmacy interns and a new social worker and an MA. And so we're this great multidisciplinary team that's built, and its purpose is to support our older adults. As mentioned in the introduction, we became Wyoming's first age-friendly health system. And this is a designation by the Institute for Healthcare Improvement. And really what it is creating a new framework for how we deliver care to older adults. And you can see that here in the schematic. So the 4 M's of age-friendly healthcare is identifying what matters to older adults and aligning that with their care plan and their specific health outcome goals. Medications, making sure that when medications are necessary, that we're using age-friendly medications that don't interfere with the other M's. Mentation, preventing, identifying, treating, and managing dementia, depression, and delirium across all care settings. And mobility, making sure that older adults are able to move safely every day in order to maintain function and do what matters to them. So by engaging in the 4Ms, we not only are connecting patients with what matters to them outside of our office, but we are creating a social network within our team to support our patients and help them feel more connected to their medical community. And we do that also through engaging in our very robust chronic care management program, which is a Medicare program that helps support patients in their health goals and have proactive outreach in between appointments. Not only are we supporting their goals on decreasing their blood sugars and improving their physical activity, but we're providing an outlet for social connection. And it's been amazing to see my team build relationships with our patients. We have some upcoming initiatives that are exciting. One is going to be trying to support older adults in long-term care with telecommunication, so they're able to connect more with their friends and family. And then, of course, we have our local Walk with a Doc chapter that we all participate in. And my team doesn't know it yet, but we are going to take the Surgeon General's 5 for 5 challenge and spread that to our patients. So that's just a really, really neat thing. I encourage you to go online and learn more about that. All right, so I just wanted to show you my my recent walk. This is our walk from this last Sunday. We walk 2 Sundays a month. And before I told my walkers I was giving this presentation, I gave them a quick survey. So I received 17 surveys this last Sunday, and everyone either agreed or strongly agreed that the social connection of Walk with a Doc was important to them, that they enjoyed seeing familiar faces, and that they have met someone new or learned something new about someone during their time with Walk with a Doc. Just for background information, our average age surveyed was 76. Our walk is open to the entire community, but that is how things shake out. And we had 12 females, 5 males take this survey. Interestingly, 10 of the 17 surveys have been of the walkers. They've been participating since the beginning of our walk, which is over 6 years. We're going on 7 years in the fall. And 4 of the surveys had been participating in the walk for over 3 years. And this is one of the quotes I received this week. Laramie's Walk with a Doc is the best thing happening for seniors in Laramie. It connects us to all kinds of opportunities and gets us going. Love this group. All right, so what to do if someone is feeling lonely or isolated? So the first thing I recommend is talking with your physician about how you're feeling and seeing how you can engage in your community if that is their recommendation, and hopefully they have some great resources and supports for you. The next is to just start engaging without any expectations for, making new friends or people liking you or having great success in this, but just start practicing. And one great way to do that is starting with the 5 for 5 challenge. Elder Care Locator, and I have the number up there for you, is a wonderful resource and would help connect you with different resources in your community. Connect2effect.org by AARP is fantastic, as is acl.gov/commit2connect, a wonderful resource. So my take-home message is loneliness and social isolation have significant health implications, and they are of great public health concern, and hopefully I've shown that today. However, there are many programs that exist to support older adults who are experiencing loneliness and/or social isolation. Please challenge yourself to set a goal of increasing engagement and also seek out others who would benefit from social engagement. Help us celebrate Older Americans Month by hashtag Powered by Connection and share what connection means to you. Here are my references. I definitely recommend reviewing the CDC's Social Connection page, as well as the National Institute on Aging, Loneliness, and Social Isolation tips for staying connected. And then I'd just like to take a quick minute for some acknowledgements. Thank you so much, 50Forward, for inviting me to give this presentation and putting all of this on. Everything you do for older adults is truly tremendous. The Administration for Community Living, thank you for celebrating Older Americans Month and for the amazing theme of Powered by Connection. Walk with a Doc and everyone at Walk with a Doc headquarters, particularly Rachel and Brian, for being so supportive and encouraging through the 8 years that I've been with you guys. My beautiful little hospital, Ivinson, thank you guys for supporting the walk and all of our age-friendly geriatric initiatives. And then I have to thank the Wyoming Center on Aging. They have been a tremendous clinical partner for us and supporting our geriatric team, as well as all of the aging population in the entire state of Wyoming. So I think we have a few questions, and I would be happy to answer more. So please keep typing in.
Thank you so much, Dr. Bjore, for that amazing presentation. Very informative. I definitely appreciate it, and I learned a lot too from it as well. I do believe we do have some questions in the audience, so let's get to those. If you have any questions, please use the Q&A feature on the Zoom, or you can comment on the section in Facebook.
Yep, that's right. And a very special thanks to those who submitted questions in advance. We had several that came through with the registration. So let's start with those first. I think I'll ask those, and then Keith will ask the ones that are coming through right now through the Q&A. So first one on here, what does an older adult need most to have more energy?
That is a fantastic question. So there's lots of changes that happen as we age. There's changes that happen with normal aging, and there's changes that happen outside of normal aging, like a disease process, a pathology. So it's really important that you first talk with your doctor to figure out why you're not having the energy that you want to have, and if there's anything that they can identify to make a change on that. And then, of course, we want you to engage in physical activity and social engagement and purposeful activity to really feed you.
Yep, that's perfect. And I think the second question kind of goes hand in hand with that one. What are healthy habits for older adults? I know we've touched on several of those, but if you want to list them again, that'd be great.
Yes, absolutely. These are great questions. Healthy habits for older adults, I think trying to get the recommended 30 minutes of moderate physical activity 5 days a week is a really great habit. If you can do that with a partner or a group and create more social engagement and interactions, we've just learned how important that is for our overall health. So that would be a very healthy habit, or engaging with your community in other ways. Obviously, we want you to eat a well-balanced diet. There's great data around the Mediterranean diet, and there's good data around having more plant-heavy diets as well.
Yeah, we're hearing more and more about eating more plants. We've had several events where that's been one of those healthy habits that we could all start doing, eating more plants. Okay, this next one is about the brain. How do we keep our brains active to avoid memory loss?
Great question. So if there was a pill that would reduce your risk of dementia by 50%, you would take it. It would be in the water. There's no pill like that, but we have found that social connection is that medicine, right? That's what we learned. And so creating those social networks, that social connection, and it might take more energy. And those of us who are introverts, it's going to take more energy. But that's absolutely something that's crucial to keep your mind active and healthy. Other healthy habits for your brain, physical activity has been shown to be extremely beneficial for cognitive health, as is getting good sleep, managing stress, avoiding medications that might have negative impacts on your cognition. It's always a great idea to talk with your physician about all the medications that you're on. Bring them in, even if it's a duffel bag. Bring in all the over-the-counter medications. If there is a clinical pharmacist available to you, request an appointment for a thorough medication review. Another thing that's been shown to be very healthy for our brains is active participation in music. And so that's another great habit and tip to make sure that you keep up on your practicing.
I love that. Love that tip. Okay, what about your thoughts on a personal trainer for this person's 93-year-old mother? Really for motivation and connection for movement, and also how to get her to agree. That might be a bigger question there.
I wish I knew your mom and I could tell you exactly what angle to come at it. But I love that question, and that makes me so excited that the idea of having a personal trainer for your mom is maybe not out of reach for you. So some insurance, not a lot, covers that service. I wish all of it did. But if you are able to find a personal trainer, especially someone who has worked with older adults and has that experience, I think that's fantastic. We can gain strength and build muscle at any age. And so the one thing that we work on in geriatric clinic is trying to keeps people as independent and high functioning for as long as possible, because that's most of the time one of their biggest health goals, and try to prevent that future functional decline and disability. So when I have a patient in my office who is maybe needing a little more support in the home, this is just an example on maybe how to convince your mom. But their goal is to stay in their home, and their goal is to be as independent as possible. But maybe they need a little help with housekeeping or bathing. I approach it as, let's look at these things. Let's look at these people. Let's look at these resources as tools to reach your overall goal, which is staying in your home. And so I would say, Mom, I found this amazing person. And if you're in the same location, say, I want to partner with you and I want to exercise with you in this personal trainer. Or I booked you a personal trainer for you and your best friend, and try to make it very appealing. And if that's still not interesting to your mom, you can say, listen, this is a tool to help you stay strong and keep you in your home or keep you out of a wheelchair, because I know you really would be very uncomfortable with that. And so this is an investment in your health and your aging process. And I hope it's something that you really like, because I bought it for you for Christmas.
Yeah.
And then hopefully it can take off from there. If your mom has a little bit of dementia, sometimes suggesting things can be very difficult for our brains, or offering multiple options can be very challenging. And so in that case, I would use what I call directive language versus suggestive language. So I would say, oh, Mom, we have an appointment. Let's grab your coat and we'll head over. Versus, oh, what do you think? How are you feeling? Do you want to go to the trainer today? Do you think that's something you could do? That's just a little bit harder cognitively for us to grasp when the brain is struggling with dementia. So those are some of my tips. I hope you get that trainer and keep encouraging your mom who's 93 and fabulous.
Yeah, that is such great advice. Thank you. Okay, one more from the pre-submitted questions, and then we'll get to those in our chat. How would I find the right shoes to wear during a long walk?
Yeah,
Interesting.
that's a great question. And I really don't think the medical community talks about appropriate footwear as often as they need to. So a couple of the things that you can do depending on how much time and resources you have is going to your physical therapist, going to your podiatrist, going to someone who does prosthetics and orthotics, to have them examine your feet and your foot structure and identify what footwear would be best for you. If that is too much, maybe a simpler place to start is to find a shoe that fits well, that your foot is not sliding in and out of, that has a wide toe box, so there's no pinching of your toes. Unless your feet are very narrow, then maybe not a wide toe box, and some arch support. Oftentimes, as we age, we lose some of the built-in arch support in our feet, and so that needs to be built into our shoe wear.
Great.
Cool. We do have a couple of questions in our Zoom chat. I'm going to just read those off. This is a really good one. What is your recommendation daily to address restless leg syndrome? The
Mm.
reason I ask is I started taking magnesium as a supplement and it worked. If agreed upon, what is your recommendation for daily magnesium intake? And is there a particular brand recommended?
Yeah, so that's a great question. I'm glad the magnesium is working for you. The one caution, or the major caution with magnesium is just to make sure you have good, healthy kidneys. So I would recommend just reviewing that with your personal physician and making sure that you're on the appropriate magnesium dose, just based off of some blood work. But I'm really glad that that's been helpful for you and that you don't have any side effects. The main side effect would be loose stool or diarrhea. And so other ideas to help with restless legs. One, we want to make sure that there's nothing that's causing the restless leg that can be treated or adjusted. Sometimes restless leg is a product of iron deficiency. And so you will want to talk with your physician about that, just to make sure you don't have anything else going on that would be reversible and treatable. And then walking and stretching a little bit before bed has been shown to benefit restless leg symptoms.
Awesome. And this is the last one. Is loneliness and social isolation only prevalent in older adults? Is it an issue spreading throughout all ages in our society?
Great question. Great question. So it's all adults. There is a bimodal distribution in which we're seeing higher prevalence of loneliness and social isolation in young adults and in older adults. And so we see a little bit of a dip, or leveling off in middle age. But young adults and older adults seem to be the ones who are most suffering from this.
Okay, awesome. And also, too, there's a question, but they're just asking if they could possibly get a copy of the presentation. So, not sure if we can distribute that. So, that was
Yeah,
the
I
last
don't know
question.
if there's a way for you all to get someone's
Mhm.
email address or post the slides. I know
Okay.
this presentation will be taped and posted on YouTube.
Yes,
Yep,
that is
that's
correct.
exactly what I was going to say. We will actually be uploading this to YouTube, this entire presentation, and we'll be sending that link to Walk with a Doc. And they usually will send that out in their newsletter and put that on their Facebook page as well. So just be on the lookout for that link. That's probably the easiest way to get it to you.
Mhm. Looks like you got a fan too, Doc. Someone asked them how can they follow you.
Ah, that's awesome. Well, I'm
Yeah.
not on any social media. Just, hashtag powered by connection, and you can shout out to Emma Bjore, Ivanson, Laramie, Wyoming, and just take all these good vibes with you. And I do see that Julie texted in the chat too, and that must be how she stays connected is through church. And so having that connection through your religious organizations has been shown to have significant positive benefits on health. So thank you for sharing that, Julie, as well.
Awesome. Well, this has been wonderful. I believe our time is up for today. But Dr. Bjore, once again, thank you so much for being here to chat with us about healthy aging for Older Americans Month.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Appreciate you all.
Yeah.
Thank you for everyone for being on and for being interested in this.
Yeah, it's such a great topic. We love celebrating Older Americans Month in May every year. And again, this year with this fabulous theme of Powered by Connection. So, Dr. Bjore, thank you so much for being here. And a special thank you also to Walk with the Doc for partnering with us on this new virtual health series. And a huge thanks to all of you joining us today from across the country. Remember, if you want to learn more and even join about the All of Us Research Program, you can visit our website at joinallofus.org/50forward, and you can see how you can become 1 in a million with the All of Us Research Program. So we're going to leave you with just a short PSA about that program and encourage all of you to get out and walk and celebrate, and happy Older Americans Month. Thank you all for being here.
All across the country, people are coming together to speed up what we can learn about health. The All of Us Research Program is calling on 1 million people to join us as we try to change the future of health. For your family, for future generations, for all of us. Visit joinallofus.org and find out how you can become 1 in a million.